place, but I do remember it being a cool place. I haven't been to Glasgow for a long time. I'm going to correct that for 2025. I'm going to do a British tour. I'm
Love to
going everywhere, but
love to have you.
I failed to visit UK. Glasgow, at least 10 years since I've been. Manchester, 20 years probably. I've not been. It's crazy.
Gosh, no, Glasgow's awesome.
Yeah. It's outrageous. I need to do that tour just to do a weekend, rather than just spend weekends here. Just go and do a weekend in a nice city.
Yep.
Um, so welcome everybody to Brain Food Live on Air, episode 287. It is the Christmas Live. It is the Brain Food Live Christmas party. And yes, Michael, you're quite right. We have completely failed to dress in festive gear. It's a disgrace. We were just sort of talking about this, and there's no excuse. What can I tell you? There's no excuse. I actually don't possess a Christmas jumper, even though I tried to correct it last week on Saturday. I just failed to buy it, and that was my window of opportunity. So really, sorry for that, and sorry for looking so formal. I apologize on Adam's behalf as well, because look at the state of him, black shirt. What's going on with that? That's even worse. Anyway, welcome everybody. The last Brain Food Live of the year. We're not going to take this too seriously, so if you're coming here to learn anything, you're in the wrong place, guys. We're just going to come here, have a chat, have a laugh, look back on the year, and really just get people on screen as well, because it's one of the things I wanted to do. And the original purpose of Brain Food Live, by the way, was to literally pull people out of the crowd and have a chat with people. And that's something we're going to try and do today. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this final show of the year. It's been a fantastic kind of innings. We're back on it again, of course, with a mini break. We're going to start on the 10th of January next year. So a decent break for both me, Adam, and everyone else who's basically on the show. Anyway, Adam Gordon, great to see you, man. So I suppose everyone knows you already, but you might as well pitch poetry at this point. I mean, why not? How many pictures of poetry have you done this year? There's another thing you need to count.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Hi, everybody. I'm Adam. I've been in recruitment for 30 years, no, 25 years. Yeah, I've probably pitched poetry. How many days are in a year? 300 and something. I would say at least 500 times. Here's an interesting fact about poetry as we come to the end of the year. Every single one of my paying customers is an American company.
That is interesting.
Every single one.
So, firstly, let's wave the stars and stripes there. Thank you so much, US companies. Amazing. Yet at the same time, it does say a little bit about state of UK economy, I think, and just general lack of confidence. You doubt this, Adam, but I can report similar on Brain Food, by the way. Just because obviously Brain Food is powered by sponsorship, and yeah, I would say over 50% of this year, and also now I can see next year as US-based companies. So I don't think this is necessarily a positive thing for UK Europe per se. We're still in the weeds, and we've got to battle our way through it, basically. But obviously, well done on the Americans, our American friends there, powering forward. We just got to find our mojo somehow here in this side of the Atlantic. Anyway, good to hear that you're doing well and you're actually making some money. This is all great stuff. Let's I don't know. I mean, let's pick out a few things that's happened in Brain Food this year. I mean, have you even thought about it? I mean, it's been a blur to me. I mean, anything particularly interesting that's happened, not on the newsletter, but you know what, in the Brain Food Live?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there has. I can't remember this year now. Like, honestly, there's a couple of reasons for that, right? So one reason is, I mean, there was big chunks of the year where you forgot about me, and that hasn't happened before. So this is the first year that, like, there could have been like 2 month gaps here and there where
Yeah, that's right.
so I don't know what was going on. But in seriousness, it's been a really distinctive year again, just like like lots of tech developments, lots of changes in the way that teams are going about recruiting, lots of changes in the way that they're redeploying their skills from traditional things like sourcing and interviewing into other aspects of experience design and data analysis and things like that. The jobs in talent acquisition teams are clearly changing. right? And we're not going back to the good old days of 2022 when there was like, massive teams of people doing recruitment and like low rec numbers and stuff like that. That's not happening ever again. So like in terms of Brain Food Live, yeah, there's been so many good shows. It's been another, congratulations to you. It's been an absolutely brilliant year. You've traveled the world like very extensively this year, and at the same time, just kept things going, which has been really quite remarkable.
Oh my God, what's happened here? What has happened here? Do you know what? It's kind of like I said, it was an open mic, and only Irina Shamaeva realized what that meant, which means anybody can just come on screen anytime. And there she is. Wonderful to see you, Irina. Why are you here so early? This must be like 5 o'clock in the morning for you in San Francisco.
My time.
Your time. Good, great to see you, Irina. Wonderful to have you on the show. Maybe for the final time. I hope not. But I obviously was aware of your big announcement midweek last week, where you told everybody that you are moving on to the next chapter, which was just such huge news for everyone. Even though I think a lot of us might have kind of had that feeling for a little while, but you've made such a huge contribution to the recruiting industry in general, but in particular in the sourcing function, which I think you helped define. I mean, I think most people would accept that. You're one of the people that pioneered the idea that there could be a different type of recruiter, and someone who, would be just an expert at retrieving information from inefficient systems. That was the thing, wasn't it? Like crappy online systems where the information didn't do, the dashboard didn't do what you wanted to do. And you were the person that helped basically educate the market on all of that. So yeah, wonderful to see you on the Brain Food Live for one more final time. We'll bring you back in your second guise as a mid-journey artist. In some other purpose. But Irina, I wonder whether we might use the chance just to tell people who might not be aware, like what is the situation with you, and what's the decision, and what is it you're going to be doing going forward?
Well, I've had a good run. My company, Brain Gain Recruiting, has been up since 2003, actually. I have worked with David Galley and Julia Tverskaya, both of whom are brilliant and highly recommended. David is teaching and both are sourcing, and Julia is a brilliant recruiter. Julia doesn't read resumes. She assesses resumes in a split second. It's a talent that I haven't seen anywhere else, and her candidates are accepted everywhere. It's been a great run with the speaking engagement and blog and Boolean Strings communities, first on LinkedIn and then on Facebook. I still enjoy all that, but I enjoy more lately, the last 2 years, drawing with Midjourney AI. You can find me on Facebook. And that is where I'm going to be because it's so fun. And I think actually, guys, you sourcers who have not tried drawing or creating something with AI, videos maybe, I think sourcers have a special talent for that because we have learned to figure out how the software behaves. We have a dialogue with the software. It's our friend. We collaborate. Collaborating with AI is our future. So I'm going to have fun drawing, and definitely want to stay in touch with everyone, and we'll be watching what's going on in the industry and so forth.
And if you just check out that link, by the way, folks, do just check out how consistent the image generation is in terms of the theme and the tone. Like that's really, really hard to do. I think most people can generate an image and it's like, oh, that looks quite cool. But then the next time you generate something, it's like completely off. It's different from what you did before. I think what Irina has been able to do, and I do believe this is where your sourcing skill set is directly transferable to your prompting skills now. because you can construct you can interact with the system to output what it is you want, and I think that's directly transferable from sourcing mentality.
I want to bring up David Galley again. I've been louder on social media than David, but David is like the sourcer in terms of digging deep and finding things that others don't. So if you're looking for classes, I absolutely recommend following David.
Well, I'm actually quietly terrified of David because he is just so intelligent that he intimidates me with his intellect. He's like, oh my God, this guy, he's just too bright.
Okay, couple of things. We published this book about custom search engines. I wrote most of the book, but David was behind the idea of the book. David figured out what custom search engines can do in general. Another thing, LinkedIn operators, the famous operators that work in a recruiter that not many people know about. I got going discovering them after David found the first one that we didn't know about. So totally recommended.
No,
yes.
Sorry, Dave, go ahead.
No, gosh, bringing back memories, right? No, a lot of what I wound up doing was like Irina would have these amazing insights, and just so many that she almost didn't have time to follow up on all of them. And I'd take one or two and just really work them, break them apart, figure it all out, and then something would come of it. So that was how we really got started, I think, collaborating way back in the day. So yeah, but take this quick opportunity to personally thank Irina for everything you've done for all of us, but also for me personally. Changed my life in many ways, and I'll never really be able to thank you properly for that. But you're going to be missed in the field, I think, and not just by us here on this call today. But at any rate, yeah, we're definitely keeping things going on the sourcing certifications and training side. We've got our first part of January, trainings up. We do all kinds of things. If you have any questions whatsoever, sourcing, search, online, data, talent, anything, reach out. Drop me a line directly. Shoot us a line through the website. We do absolutely want to help as many people solve their sourcing problems as possible. And that'll continue for the foreseeable future. As Irina moves on, we'll continue to be doing that. So, yeah.
No, wonderful to say, David. And yeah, folks, absolutely correct. If you're like thinking, oh my goodness, where we're going to go for, the sourcing intelligence, sourcing training, etc. BrainGain's still going on. I mean, the service is still continuing as a resource and a service for the industry. So make sure you get involved with that. And I know David's kind of been a little bit understated here, but the reality is he's very much been sort of the power behind a lot of the innovation over that long period of time. And it's going to be, it's still like a top edge educational and training service. So make sure you check it all out. David, if you have any kind of offer, now is the time to give it, man. Is there anything you can give the brain fooders here to say, you know what, here's Happy New Year?
Yeah, so I'm gonna drop it in the text chat here, but and I would just want to note that the code has to be entered all caps, but any order through our website, Brain Food, take 20% off. Merry New Year, Christmas, etc. for everybody. We'll definitely just wanted to provide that as a kind of thank you to the group, and we look forward to seeing some of you join us in our sessions and working with you in the new year.
Yeah, fantastic. And for the folks who are watching this on LinkedIn, I know that sort of I was super late in creating this event simply because I forgot.
Oh.
You can tell my brain is not working, but it is out there. I'm broadcasting on LinkedIn. I think Stephen and Adam are also broadcasting this as well. The code is BrainFood, all caps 20, a single phrase. So someone grab that and ping it in one of these comment threads and
see if I can go back and comment on the replays later with it. But yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff, David. Fantastic stuff. Well, hang on in there because Irina, we're not gonna let you go just as yet. Because I'm gonna bring up Alla Pavlova in a minute. Let's see if Alla mentioned she was doing her hair, so I have no idea whether that's happening or not. But let's see. Let's see something happen. It seems that she's here. And yeah, just basically.
Right?
Sorry, Irina.
Anybody can join if they wanted, right?
Anybody can join, but I've now locked the door because I wanted to just do this little segment before I open it up to others. So hopefully we can get this going. And yeah, let's see whether we can. It could well be Alla's actually not available. She did say she was doing her hair, which I know is like a premium concern. It's super important. So. Whilst that's not happening, let me show you something that Alla kind of created, and it's basically just a goodbye gift or a thank you gift from from the community. Irina, I don't know whether you've seen it or not. I did post it on the Facebook group with the hope that you would not pay attention to that Facebook group for a while. So it was a bit of a risk, but I just wanted to share screen with you here, and I'll send you this. It's not even completed yet, but I think it's what's happened here. Let's do that. But I think it's a really, really great gift. Let me just check this. Okay, so can everyone see my screen okay? Can we see this? I think so. No? Okay, I think we can.
Yes.
Okay, here we go, Irina. I mean, listen, there's about 150 slides on this, and there's more as people are going to complete it. But essentially, this is just a gift from us, and just a thank you, really, from all of the people that wanted to say a few words to commemorate your contribution to the industry. So here's Alla. She's the lady that started the idea, and obviously very keen for her to say these words. But there's loads of people, of course, that you've massively influenced. And you can read all of this at your leisure as we go forward, but we'll flick through a few that I'm sure of people that you'd recognize. We all try to pick up pictures, of course, where we did selfies with you. And you can see here's Vanessa. I don't think Vanessa is sort of watching this right now. She's probably on safari somewhere. But again, someone who you massively influenced. And indeed someone who's gone forward to influence in turn a bunch of people. So there's like a cascade effect that you've had in this part of the industry. As Joey Coxal, I'll go through these real quick. It's Gabby here as well. There's Bass. I think that's Bass Vestland. We have Lumi here. We've got loads of people. Patrick is there. Adrian, Jan Tegs is there. Yeah, there's loads. There's Balash, of course. So this is going to keep going. There's like loads of people have made mention, and it's going to continue. There's me, actually, Christ. So there's loads of people. And we'll send this to you once that is kind of complete. And yeah, it's just basically just a thank you from us. And yeah, hopefully it's something that's nice to have and you can keep.
Thank you so much.
Great. When it's my turn to leave and I do mine, there'll be like 3 people, one of which will be my mum.
Right.
So it'll be like, yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Well, listen, Irina, no worries. Go ahead, sir. Sorry, Irina. Did you say again what you were about to say?
Happy holidays.
Yes, absolutely, Irina. Well, listen, we'll let you go. I don't want to hang you on too long, but if you want to keep coming back on screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the way in which I can allow everyone to do this. I actually have lost the ability to do that. So we'll figure that out in a second.
Technology, right?
No, well, it's weird, man, because I think it's one of these where it worked and then so now I've lost the functions. I'm not able to continue. But let's leave you at this point, Irina. I don't want to keep you hanging on too long. I know it's like super early. So thank you so much for everything you've done, Irina, and we'll definitely see you soon. I'll bring you back for some Midjourney stuff or artistic work. There's no question that's going to happen. So we'll see you soon, Irina.
You're absolutely right, by the way. And Irina's like artwork on Midjourney is absolutely stunning. But the sorcerer mindset. In fact, I think it wasn't you that said it. It was maybe Irina that said it. The sorcerer mindset is absolutely perfect for going into generative AI and making generative AI work, because it's like analytical. It's look under every rock. It's try things and see what works and what doesn't work. It's about creating like an engineering mindset, you know. So and I think, was Irina an engineer by background? I think so.
Software engineer.
Yeah. So it's really logical to me that that move.
Yep, and well done to her and her wonderful career. Okay, let's bring on a few people. By the way, we are now back on open mic, folks. So if you want to just stride on, you can do. Just make sure you're dressed for TV. This is live streamed, of course. We can't really have any control of what's going on there. And yeah, basically want to hear from you. Like, what is the score? How did you find the year? I see Stephen Rothberg, actually. So let's bring Steve on. He's one of our favorites. Really need to give Steve a bit more airtime in 2025, I think.
So while we're bringing Stephen on, I think, like, in terms of the actual Brain Food newsletter as well, let's just pepper some things through it, right? I think it's quite interesting that the poll results that you did, and I acknowledge that it was a smaller than normal like sample that you got, but you asked people, are you going to be hiring more, the same, or less in 2025 than you are in 2024? And my first instinct was, there's only like the negative, which was like there's only 33% of people who think they're going to be hiring more in 2025. Therefore 67%, you know, think they're not. And I thought, like, that's really quite bad. But then I looked at it again and went, actually, only 21% of people said they're going to be hiring less. So that's 79% of people who think they're going to be hiring at a stable rate or more than they were. So there's two ways of looking at that, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I was interested to know what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been thinking too much of it. I mean, the polls it's quite a low number of people who actually did it. So I mean, I do need to build a polling app for next year, which is generally, if we can get like 1,000 people voting per question, that would, I think, be much more powerful. And there's no reason why we couldn't actually do that. We just need a more convenient way to put a vote in. So it's maybe a WhatsApp thing, but I'm careful not to stick 1,000 people into a WhatsApp group. It's horrible. So I need to figure out a way to do it. There used to be a really good app called Thumb on the App Store, which is literally a yes/no. Ask a question, you could do a yes/no on it. And then for some reason that went under. But that was a really, really fantastic app. And yeah, for some reason that's no longer there. So we saw sort of Stephen momentarily disappeared. I suspect what we're seeing on screen here with that third space is going to screw us up. So let's try someone else. Let's try Luke.
Typeform, incidentally, is just beautiful to use. It's such a great system. But what were the 5%? The 5% who said other, right? Because if the answer is, are you going to be hiring more, the same, or less? 5% said other. Did they say anything? What did they say?
No, there was actually very limited commentary as well. So it's interesting where we feel things are going to be. But yeah, I think that ultimately I'm hearing different things from different places. So I'm not going to put too much weighting on the poll. I think regionally we'll have a big difference, basically. And then this pertains to what we were talking about before. Stephen Rothberg, you seem to be back. I think that's okay. And we have Luke Davis here as well. Let's do some quick intros for folks who sort of don't know you two. Stephen, you first. Who are you? What is you do?
I'm founder of College Recruiter, job search site based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Early careers global. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you, Stephen. We have Luke Davis here as well. Luke, wonderful to see you. How are you?
Great to see you.
Sort of tell people who you are, what it is you do, Luke, sorry.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Great to see you all. So I'm Luke Davis. My pronouns are he, him. I am the co-founder of Diversifying.io. We are a B Corp accredited diversity-focused job board, and I'm currently, but soon to be, switching the COO of Diversifying Group. Great to see you all.
Yeah, great to see you too. So yeah, listen, wonderful to have you on the show. There's no agenda, no topic really. I'm not sure I've even got any questions for you. So I just wanted to get. I mean, I think both of you have been guests on the show this year, I believe. Or you've certainly participated in the chat. So just want to say thanks for participating. And what are your thoughts? What topics do we need to cover in 2025? Maybe that's something that's good to talk about. Is there anything missing from the schedule this year that you want to see more of next?
Well, you introduced me first. Should I go first, Luke?
Yeah, go.
Okay. So one thing I just wanted to say that it's been a really hard year for many of the people in this community.
It's hard for tech as well.
Short and simple point, right? But I mean, it genuinely has. And actually, I was going to say to people, like, just give us a one word answer. Like, just put in the chat here. Has 2024 been easy street, average, or brutal for you? I'll go first. It's been brutal.
Oh,
carry
my
on, Stephen.
goodness.
Sorry, Stephen's back.
Yeah, I don't know. The connection dropped. But I was just going to say that it's been a really hard year for some people in the community, right? It's been a great year for others. But one thing that I think we need to all keep in mind is that just about any religion, I'm not a religious person, but just about any religion that you look at in the world will rank different levels of charity or good deeds. And helping somebody find a career, helping somebody earn a livelihood is always at the top of that. And every single person in this community, keep in mind that the work that we do is incredibly honorable, and it really makes a massive difference in the lives of everybody that we touch.
That's a really important point to make. I think the morale of the industry is quite low. As people are saying here, tough, brutal. It's hard to sort of, be sort of not having great years, being on the market, really struggling. Of course, morale is going to take a buffeting. But one of the things that you mentioned, I think very important, you can make a tremendous impact in the job you do. I forget who it was I was having a chat with the other day about a candidate that they placed, 15 years or so ago that still remembers them, even when the recruiter had naturally forgotten who that person was. But it was a hugely impactful. It's very similar to, the teachers at school that made just a very massive impact on you. They don't know, but they did actually, give you a massive plus in your future direction. That's something to keep in mind when we're kind of, battling through these tough times. It's an important function and potentially, really decisive for a lot of the people that we help find work too. So, indeed, so very good very good observation, Stephen. Luke, your thoughts? Like, what's happening this year? Should happen next? I mean, I guess pertaining to Brain Food Live, but also maybe to wider industry as well.
Yeah, I think I definitely echo Adam and Steve. It has been a brutal year. I think there's a few of us that have got 25-year anniversaries coming up. It'll be my 25th year in recruiting next year. Yeah, same as you, Adam, isn't it? And I think, as this has definitely been the hardest year I've had in the 25 years. And I think for anyone who's been in a job and then been a business owner, I think some of the, this tougher market when you're a business owner and you're looking at retrenchments, redundancies, letting go of people that you love that are brilliant at their job, like it cuts differently. I think to Stephen's point, I think we've got this real sense of community that exists in Brain Food and others. And I actually think, kind of a non-tech prediction for next year, but I think definitely events, conferences, communities, I think they're placing even more importance. And I know, kind of having gone back into the job market a little bit myself and experienced things as a candidate, the power of your own networks versus trying to apply versus the usual channels and thousands of applications. I think that power of the people we know, the people that know us, how good we are, I think is going to be really vital. So I think we're going to see that even more in 2025 than 2024.
Yeah, I say, I've been like one thing I've been very pleased about is I've been under no pressure to really sell anything this year. And nearly everybody's been under pressure to go and recruit people or sell stuff or something like that. I mean, I can't. There's not been a better year to have no pressure, really. And it's still been a brutal year, And so if I'd been having like targets on things, it would have been really, really bad.
Yeah, fantastic. And we've got Oana, who I haven't seen for a long while. Steve just doesn't want to be here. He's like just bouncing off. Oana, wonderful to see you. Thank you, by the way, Oana, for understanding the brief, which means anybody can just turn up as you see fit. But listen, great to see you, Oana. It's actually disappointing for me. I've not actually seen too much of you this year, so I'll have to correct that because Barcelona, a wonderful place to visit. Why don't you quickly introduce yourself, Oana? Who are you? What is you do?
Hi, everyone. Love to see you. Hung, Adam, Luke, again, thank you so much for having me. It's nice to do this type of experience. Hi, everyone. My name is Oana Erdekescu. I'm the founder of Fair Cultures, but I come also from a very long line of years in talent acquisition, specifically tech, and very much in the game. Still a very interesting year for sure for everybody. I think everybody's just hoping that 2025 is a little bit better, but what do we think? I don't know.
Tell us about your event, Oana, because I'm really, really impressed by how you've moved this forward into, a really significant event now. That you had, I think, a couple of hundred people turn up last time, I believe, something like this. And you're already sort of preparing for, obviously, well in preparation for 2025. So why don't you give us a quick update on what that's all about?
So Fair Barcelona happened 1st April. Thank you so much for noticing. I know it's kind of a bit off to do events not in the Northern Europe or upper Northern Western Europe, right? We started with Barcelona because I think for us it's a little bit of the epicenter, and we want to do this workplace inclusion conference. It's called Fair Barcelona for now, but you find it at Fair Cultures. We actually have a very nice Christmas campaign if you want to join. But the point for us was to really take policymakers, those people who work on, let's say, Pay Transparency Directive or European Women on Boards Directive, AI Act, Disability Act, all these kind of legislative pieces that organizations need to uphold, then have a bunch of practitioners, whether they're heads of talent acquisition, DEI experts, and then also research and academia. And we managed to do that on the stage in April. A couple of CEOs also showed up to say, hey, this is important. It's not just bottom up, it's really top down as well. And we soft launched for May 15 next year, and we're tracking well. Actually, today it's been a very good day when everybody was like, oh, brutal. We actually see some people saying, I have a break now. I have a breather. Let me prepare conferences for next year. Let's see what I can put in my training budget. So really nice to see that. I think with all the backlash or front winds for DEI, I think in Europe we're still going to have some very, very deep conversations, probably even more mature, to be honest.
Yeah, this is one of my predictions for 2025. There's going to be an Atlantic divergence on the topic of DE&I. I think the US, I'm not going to write the US off, of course, but there's going to be massive headwinds. We're going to have a big period of woke lash there. It's going to be really, really tough for anybody working in the DE&I space, even maybe in HR. I think it's really on the crosshairs. However, in Europe, basically stuff moved into the legislative system. And so these directives are out there. You're going to have to do it. And so I do believe Europe will have much more progressive conversations on this than our friends in the US. So really interesting to see. Luke, actually, you're obviously you're a sort of a wheelhouse as well. What's your perspective on it? Because I think sort of part of your business also recruits specialists in D&I functions. Is that right? Like, what's the year been? I mean, most people probably say, yeah, it's been terrible. Has that been the case, or what's your view?
I think, look, it has been, in terms of economically, there's definitely been a hit. I think with all of the elections going on, it became super political, not just in the US, but in other countries as well, particularly with the left versus right divide. But what we have seen, though, is there's a lot of organizations where I think post George Floyd 3 or 4 years ago, they've made this normal ways of working, and it's internal policies that companies have themselves, supported by the legislative things that are going on. So there's lots of organizations who are like, look, this is what we want to do. It's what our employees tell us they want. They want to be in a diverse workforce. They want to be somewhere where they can be supported and looked after. So I think we've seen that kind of polarization of organizations that have gone, great, we don't need to do this anymore. We won't spend any more money on it. We won't focus on it. There's lots, though, that I think have really made a lot of progress, and they're starting to get to the smaller things they need to do, particularly at a leadership level, to get more diversity. But I think there's been huge progress. And I was actually reflecting a bit on, I've been doing a fair bit of training this year, in a way more so than 3 or 4 years ago, and comparing the knowledge difference between 4 years ago and now. When you go in and talk to hiring managers, recruiters, they really know their stuff now. So actually, I think there's been huge amounts of progress that if you avoid the sensationalism going on, there's a lot of great work that's gone in D&I, and it's not going anywhere. And I think maybe there is a bit of a rebrand needed. I think some of it's got a bit tired, a bit dated. Let's freshen it up. Let's remember what it really is. But I think there is a fair bit of positivity still outside of the economic piece for small businesses trying to make money from DEI.
Question for Luke and Oana. I just over the last couple of months, I don't know whether I'm just suddenly enlightened on this, and actually I've been ignorant to it, or what. But it seems to me like DEI is very, very different thing on each side of the Atlantic, and on it means a much broader thing in Europe than it does in North America, and also or the USA specifically, and also it's much more politicized in the USA. It's much less politicized and much more just a table stakes thing in Europe. Would that be fair? Is that something that you are aware of as well, or not?
I can start off. I think, and very, very good, I think, observation, Adam. First of all, I think in the US, because you had this EEOC, so they had a very special commission and a very special way to measure census, measure demographics based on their historic legacy, etc., etc. It has been more prescriptive. Like DEI programs have been very prescriptive from an institutional, from a governmental point of view. While I think in Europe, we kind of took more of a philosophical attitude for a very, very long time, when we actually need to catch up on the other side. To the point of polarization, to be honest, I must say I'm quite concerned for Europe as well. We do see the extreme right, the xenophobic speech, the anti-migration speech is gonna come here as well, as much as in the US, to be honest. Unless we do something about it, we will see how these latest elections all over Europe pan out. But that's my take on it. I think it's just where we're coming from will always play a role, but also what's happening in the political scene at the moment, it's very serious. I see organizations from the US which are replacing the words altogether. So it's not called diversity and inclusion anymore. It's called sustainable community, for example, or something community related, right? And of course, we need to also remember there is a new ESG kind of report request from most of the OECD states, where you need to report on your sustainability goals as an organization, especially a certain size organization, on your social impact, which also talks about your talent pool, and also, of course, the government. So very interesting changes. And I think, again, very solid changes we need to be paying attention. Luke, I don't know what you think, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think my context is obviously mostly UK focused, some Europe, some US. And I guess kind of when I observe the US difference, I think a lot of it's down to, because of the affirmative action, I think as Stephen's saying out there, is that they've been far more focused on the outcome. So really focused on the numbers, like how many Black employees have we got, or what levels and things, which I think in the UK and Europe, I think people do a lot of good work, and that's the outcome of the good work that they do. And I think some of the pushback is that I think sometimes in the US, potentially, there's been a real push to hit certain goals, certain targets, certain quotas, which I think then undermines the kind of notion of fair hiring and best candidate for the role and things like that, which I think is kind of where DEI goes too far and too wrong, where it stops being about the best and it being open and competitive. It starts being around kind of redress differences. So I think that might be part of the thing that you're talking to there, Adam.
Yeah. On this note, by the way, folks, one of the things I've been massively enlightened about by traveling a lot this year is encountering how diversity and inclusion is understood in different territories and different places. And in fact, there's actually a lot of diversity within diversity and inclusion. I think part of the problem we might have is that we've kind of layered on one idea of what this might be, and trying to force local conditions into this one idea. It kind of doesn't work. I think ultimately all of us probably can agree, no matter what side of the political fence you're on. I would imagine most people in the recruiting and HR industry would agree that we generally want to make sure that everyone has a fair shot. I think most people would agree on that. The question is, what does that constitute, and how do we create the conditions where the most people have the fairest shot? But anyway, that's that. We'll see what we're going to do. Thanks a lot, Oana. Great to see you. Luke, we'll let you go here as well.
Thank you.
Happy Christmas, you guys. Great to see you. This is my excuse to get myself to Barcelona, of course. So we'll have to do that. I'm gonna invite on a debutante onto Brain Food Live, because one of the things we need to do, Adam, right? And this is not on you, by the way, because you're really good at actually helping me find new people. But we also need to just get new voices on, right? How do we do that if we can't see them? I don't know actually, which is why I always reach back to the old favorites, so to say. But we need to find a mechanism so that people who want to come on and share a panel or just give a voice somehow, they can do that without thinking they can't, I guess. I mean, that's basically my thinking.
If you want to cover the subject of recruiter enablement, I've got a whole bunch of people I could who would be debutantes. Put that in for the new year.
I mean, we don't need to be recruitment enablement per se. Actually, yeah, a +1 buddy system might be useful. So anybody who comes on screen may need to have a +1 that they can introduce next time, and they've got to do it. Look at this lady here. It's Megan Hennessy.
Hello, how are you?
How are you, Megan?
I'm doing good. Sorry, I was having some audio troubles.
Yeah, I can hear myself through your thing, so you might need to stick your earphones on or something.
Well, the one is it's not working. So can you hear me okay?
Is it not? All right. I think it's a possibility that I might be able to hear myself through you, and this would be awkward. But anyway, Megan, why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? What it is you do?
Yeah. Great to be on. Thank you for having me. I am a TA leader, global organizations, coming from a background of big tech and doing it for 15 years or so now. Started in sourcing, grew into leadership. Started in America, came over to Europe. I'm based in Amsterdam, and kind of getting into the weeds of talent, HR, everything, and all of that, and what that takes for a global organization. So, always curious to hear and follow what's going on.
Yeah, and great to see you. I met with Megan 2 weeks ago now, wasn't it? 2 weeks in Amsterdam. What a wonderful dinner that was. Yeah, you missed the dessert.
I know. I was so jealous. I thought it was over. I headed out, and then I get all these photos of the most amazing desserts. Oh.
So you don't have a particularly Dutch accent?
No. I'm from the States. Grew up a bit all over the States. Just been here in Amsterdam for, 9 years now. So kind of call it home. But I don't have the Dutch accent. I don't have the Dutch language either. I'm still on it. It's my goal.
No, I think Dutch is the hardest language to learn in Amsterdam because everyone is so fluent in English, and it's also very now an international sort of city of kind of extraordinary extent. So yeah, very, very difficult to do. But let's get on Mark Dubel as well, because he was also a guest in our dinner, and I can see him being active on the chat here. So let's hope he's suitably dressed for TV. And see how we get on. And Meg, just a quick one. You're doing the Brain Food 20 questions, aren't you? Can you give us an update? Where are you with this?
I know. I need to really sit down and hash them out. You gave me this advice, just do it all in one go, and I ran out of time doing it all in one go, so I'm going to redo, and then I'm going to send them to you. But I'm got it on my blocked out afternoon today, so.
No pressure. You know what? I never apply pressure on anybody. This is why, nothing ever happens in my life. It's like literally nothing happens. And I need to apply, more pressure. Anyway, there's Mark. Mark, wonderful to see you.
Wonderful to see you as well. How are you doing?
Very, very good, man. Very good. Mark, why don't you quickly introduce yourself? Who are you? What is you do?
I'm Mark Dubel. I'm almost better known as Dubels. I used to podcast, not anymore. Will do again. I'm a technical recruiter, nowadays technical manager at Synthesia, a digital avatar company. Before that, I had the pleasure to bring GitLab and Elastic to IPO. And before that, I was actually an engineer doing completely different stuff.
And before that, you were sort of a merchant seaman or something, were you?
Navy, Air Force. I did dredging. I did windmills. I did everything you can imagine.
It's an incredible life story, and yeah, Synthesia is such an interesting product, by the way, folks. If you've not sort of checked it out, you should do. It is basically Mark, you can correct me on this, but it's essentially a product that helps people create a digital twin that can then go on to basically message out at scale. So if you wanted to do, I think it's right now for L&D is quite a powerful thing, and obviously for sales, it's very good. I think we saw a video of you actually, Mark, which is very compelling, where you said thank you to everyone on the chat, but in fact it was actually not you at all. It was the digital Mark.
Wasn't me. My digital version speaks so much better than me, and English sounds better. No, so it's indeed a digital version. It's text to video, so that's a beautiful thing, right? You're saving a lot of time by re-recording. I used to do a lot of recruiter outreach by hand. So record yourself, then you make a mistake. In my case, a lot of mistakes with my English. And now I just type it and send it out. So it makes my life much easier. We use it for onboarding. We use it for the whole candidate journey. And candidates absolutely love it because it's different. My outbound, so my return of interest, basically, so my outbound responses went from 40 to 78 just by using video.
Mark, is recruitment is recruitment like an active sort of sales target for Synthesia? Is that a channel that's been, or have you just been innovating?
I've been innovating and working on it. I actually am trying to partner up with somebody to make this happen. I got them interested in recruiting as a vertical because it's a massive vertical, right? It can really spruce up how recruitment has been operating over the last few years. Not just recruiting, by the way, but also people ops, right? Onboarding, training, all those kind of things. It's much easier.
Yeah, I wonder what size the TAM is compared to, say, learning. I imagine learning's much bigger, but still, recruiting's definitely a big opportunity for sure.
How big is the learning market? I don't think it's bigger than recruiting. Recruiting's
much bigger.
Much bigger.
Massively bigger.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Learning's massively bigger. Yeah.
I'm disgusted. Sorry, I'm not. I'm ignorant, actually. Let me just show you very quickly what this looks like. Because hang on, why can't I share screen? Present. God damn, this is so hard.
By the way, Young, you have your own avatar right now, the full professional one. So I'm expecting a personal avatar from you in the new year.
Oh yeah, by the way, folks, I'm going to launch a bunch of AI type stuff in early 2025. So there should be firstly, the Brain Food Larder is going to get renovated completely into a AI powered interface. So RoboHome version 2 is going to emerge. That will allow you to basically use natural language sort of queries to pull back information that's been published on Brain Food. 10,000 articles, you can just pull them back in simply by saying, send me the top 10 sort of articles on DE&I. It's going to be much better than Larder. It's in testing right now, and I think it's going to be released probably in January. And we're going to try and train myself in one of these things. I'm going to try and, how do I share screen again? I did it so perfectly last time, but, I can't do it again.
If people look at my LinkedIn, they will probably see some generated videos as well, so they can always explore that one.
Yeah, we have to do it in a different way because I can't operate the system. A failure to operate. Okay, let's talk about Christmas sort of plans. Megan, Hennessy, what's your Christmas plans? Give us some news.
Yeah, I'm actually just staying here, so I'm gonna enjoy the nice Dutch weather, do some Christmas markets, take a bit of a break, and then jump into 2025 fresh. So I don't know. It's not a lot of plans. I'm trying to keep it kind of light,
Is it cold enough for things to freeze over? Because one of the amazing things that I saw a couple of years ago with people skating on the canals and crazy stuff like this. Not to say you should risk your life in this way, but I just thought, you know what, if you're going to do one Amsterdam thing that's just completely stereotypical, this may be it.
I wish it was cold enough, but no, it's just above, so it's just cold rain. But
yes,
there is
indeed.
a skating rink in Amsterdam outside, so it's still available. It's just not the canals yet.
No worries. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you hopefully next year, Meg. What about you, Mark? What are you doing Christmas? Give us some chat.
Family dinners, mostly friends over. I'm going to be cooking for about 4 days to get this done. So I'm going to be busy.
4 days, 4 days worth of cooking. It's like the slowest.
Indonesian food, right? You know how that works. Indonesian
You got to
food
just
takes
literally
a lot of time.
get it absolutely pulled off. Amazing stuff. Okay, guys, let's let you go. Great to see you too. Enjoy the rest of Amsterdam. I'll see you both as soon as I can next time I'm over in the Netherlands.
Sounds good. Happy holidays.
Just so you know, the global recruiting technology market is worth about $10 billion, whereas learning stroke education technology is like 140 billion plus. It's like 14 times bigger.
I don't believe that. I think you three have just agreed to as a mini consensus. Like, where is that going?
Well, I've got to say, I remember there's an event. Is it in April at Excel every March or something like that? There's an event called the HR Technology event or whatever it is called. I mean, the learning site, the learning expo is vastly bigger than the whole of HR Technology. Actually.
Yeah, so I tell you why obviously everyone's like hammering me on this. Listen, I'm immune to consensus, guys. So I need to, do the research, do my own research.
And then you're still right. And then you're still right.
Let me go into 4chan and see what they say. No, but the reality is, I think the reason why is basically because recruiting is episodic. Maybe learning isn't. So that you've always got this population you're trying to feed, I guess.
So I mean, if I'm like an average person's going to go through a recruitment process maybe 10 times in their life, or maybe 30 times in their life maximum, whereas they're should be continually learning.
Yeah. You know what? I'm also going to bring on David's not going to like this because he doesn't like to come on stream. I'm going to bring him on because he's got some news to share. So David Manasta, don't think he's just disappeared. Just as I was about to invite him. No, he's here. I've invited him. I want him to talk about sort of what the future is for events. It's very exciting. Announcement that I saw only a couple of days ago. So I wonder whether he would be able to come on screen and tell us a bit about that.
Evolution, right?
There he is, David Manasta. How are you doing, David? Good to see you, man.
Hey, Hunt. Thanks for having me. Hi, Adam.
Good stuff, David. I think people know who you are, but quickly introduce yourself. What it is, who you are, and what it is you do.
I'm the founder and CEO of ERA Media, and we are publishers of information for recruiters and TA professionals. And we run events primarily in the US for TAs, TA professionals, and recruiters and sourcers.
Yeah, fantastic. And you came up with sort of some big news yourself in I think last week or maybe the week before. And I saw Kevin and Jim and everyone sort of comment on this, but I'd love to hear from your sort of from the horse's mouth, so to say, right now. Like, what is the big news happening in Vegas next year?
Yeah, super excited about this. We are combining two of the longest running conferences in the TA space. And that is SourceCon and the ERA Recruiting Conference into one mega event that is going to be combining the best of both worlds, sourcing and recruiting. And we're also going to be highlighting the latest in recruiting technology at the event. So really excited. Hung, you were at the last ERA Recruiting Conference, so we were excited to have you there.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed my time out in California, and yeah, excited to see the combined sort of the combined event. It should be very, very. And the tickets it's already out there, isn't it, David?
It's already out there. People can register. It's at ererecruitingconference.com. And we all are going to be putting out the full agenda probably after the holidays and in the beginning of January. But people can already get ready to go now, make travel plans.
Yeah, cool. Let me just share the link there. And David, I assume some holidays happening for you shortly. What is the period looking like for you? Are you downing tools? Is this last day? What's the story here?
I take advantage of the downtime to get all the things that I haven't gotten done for the whole rest of the year caught up on. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of skiing with my boys. But yeah.
Good stuff. Enjoy the holidays, David. Great to see you earlier this year, and yeah, look forward to catching up in 2025, man.
Awesome talking.
I'm going to be doing that, by the way. The next 10 days is going to be a lot of personal admin, a lot of personal stuff that I just haven't got around to doing, which is so overdue. It's bad. It's really bad. But
give us a few examples of your neglect of your life, mate.
No, it's far too personal. Booking holidays. No, booking
do
holidays.
You do that? Is it your responsibility, or does Holly not do that?
No. If I don't do it, it doesn't happen.
All right. Well, he's not listening to this, but
I know she does plenty of stuff, but that's one thing that
division labor is that. Yeah,
I'm a more decisive authority on that specific. That's the only thing that I take control of.
Yeah, cool. So some holidays you're going to book. What else is happening, man?
I've had an itch like on the top of my shoulder for about 3 or 4 months, and I'm sure there's something wrong. But anyway, yeah,
check it out, man. Definitely, if it's a localized thing,
exactly.
Definitely check it out. That's nothing to mess around.
But there's no mole or anything. It's just a scratch, like an itchy bit on the top of my shoulder.
Was it hard? Is there any kind of weird things? No.
Nope, nothing. Okay. I've looked, nothing.
Probably psychosomatic, but it's still, do check it out. I mean, as I'm getting older, I'm also becoming aware of what MOT needs to be happening on a regular basis. You need to escalate from 1 year to 1 month. Keep me monitoring on this. This is not something to joke around with.
I did it myself. I went to Randox and did one of those MOT things a few months ago, and it's definitely from now on. It's definitely an annual thing.
Hang on, what is Randox? You got to give me some. I'll do this.
Oh, it's a clinic you turn up at. It's about 350 quid, I think it was, and you pee into a bottle. They take some blood, they weigh you, and all that sort of stuff. And then, if you've got cancer, they're probably going to pick it up in abnormalities in your blood and whatever. Possibly not, but probably. And so it's not like you can do things that are probably more comprehensive, but £350 once a year, it's a good sort of like sweeps up a lot of stuff that could be wrong with you.
This is what I need. I need to have that sort of MOT. 300 quid is not a lot. And I'm actually looking for that service. Like, I don't even this is where the internet doesn't help you anymore, because you try and find it and all you get is health insurance stuff. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm happy to just go and pay some money to just rock up and, get a professional to poke around a bit. I mean, that just make me feel a bit better. Even if, it's not a pleasant experience at the time. What I don't want is to have a conversation with a GP and then them just sending you away and think, yeah, I could have chatted to myself on that. You know what I mean? I need a medical examination, please. So right, Randox, that's happening. You got a customer. Excellent. Okay, listen, I think we're more or less done for the year. So at least final word, mate. I've got to thank you for being such a trooper on Brain Food Live. I haven't ignored you, even though I probably should do a better job of informing you what the situation is.
I was only joking. I was only joking. It was when you were in different time zones. You had extensive periods.
Yeah. That's it. I was away for that period. And essentially, I'm very sensitive to asking people to do stuff on time zones where I wouldn't personally do it. And if I'm lacking confidence, I'm able to make the time. Obviously, I'm not going to book time off. But dude, you're still in the pilot seat, mate. Still in the co-pilot seat for next year. No doubt about it. So we'll get that sorted. We're going to be back in January the 10th. So we've got a big break. Is that a 20-day break? I think that's a 20-day break from Brain Food Live, mate. Can you believe it? Can the internet survive? Can recruitment survive without us? You're going to have to, because we're going to check out. It's done. All right. Brain Food, in terms of the newsletter, will continue as is. That never stops. That'll keep going. So will the newsletter on LinkedIn. I'm going to finish my review of the year. And then, of course, I've got to do my predictions. So I've got to forecast that as well. By the way, Adam, I'd be interested in your predictions also. You don't have to write an essay, but give some thoughts to what you think is going to happen in the market. That would be cool to see. And yeah, we'll pick it up from there. So listen, everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for being with us all this time. Follow the channel, of course, if you want to keep updated on when we're next go live. You can just, I think if you're watching this on Crowdcast, you can just click on the follow on there if you haven't already. You can also follow my LinkedIn as well, because I always broadcast live at the same time on LinkedIn. Whenever that happens, if you're following on the LinkedIn profile, you basically get notified when we go live there as well. Okay, that's about it, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next year. Have a very Merry Christmas. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Have a great new year as well. And we'll see you rocking and pumping for 2025. See you later, everyone.